Summer continues in Fort Worth with all our teams busy getting ready for the 2026-2027 season. We have Kirk Saarloos and the baseball team rounding out his coaching staff and hot on the recruiting trail with the MLB draft around the corner. Basketball is wrapping up Summer 1 sessions, and in studio today is Utah transfer Avery Hjelmstad. Women's soccer head coach Eric Bell and volleyball head coach Jason Williams are in the middle of camp season while voluntary workouts are underway. With student athletes competing across the nation and across the pond, men's tennis head coach David Roditi is on the recruiting trail at Wimbledon. The World Cup is in town. America turns 250 this weekend, and we have a show that starts right now.
What's up, Frog fans? Coach Lee Taylor Walker here, TCU women's tennis head coach, and I'm pumped to be here with Kira Matushkina. Great job on the opening, so good. Let me tell you something, Frogs. We've got from the Russian national team from St. Petersburg, Russia, to Old Dominion University, where she was nationally ranked in singles and doubles, multi-time conference player of the week, multi-time all-conference player. She's going to help us get another Big 12 championship so we can go back-to-back this year.
That's for sure. Thank you, Lee. Excited to be here and also excited to host Frogs Today this week. I spent my first 3 years of college in Virginia at Old Dominion and grateful for this opportunity. Originally from the St. Petersburg, Russia, and with Soccer World Cup in town, it's so awesome to see all the world just loving the United States. We have some celebrating to do this week as well, with America turning 250 years old. I have loved my time here and look forward to getting started on this new chapter with TCU tennis in the fall.
That's right. We can't wait to get started either. Absolutely excited for America 250. Celebrations this week, going to be all over the country. You know, I'm just super grateful for all the opportunities this country has given for me and my family. It's been unbelievable, and it's awesome also that we as tennis coaches get to host players on our team from all over the world. This past year we had 7 international players. This upcoming year we're going to have 8 or 9, and to see them be able to come here and just thrive is awesome, and Kira is just another one of those to add to the list.
Happy 4th of July, Frogs Nation. I'll be back with the baseball and men's tennis after a word from our sponsor, Richard's Rainwater.
So rainwater, why is it the best? Well, it comes from heaven, the sky. It literally never touches the ground. We catch it before it hits the ground. And as soon as rainwater hits the ground, it becomes groundwater. That's what all the other water is that you buy at the store or is coming out of your tap at your house. It's groundwater. And the moment water is in the ground, it starts to absorb everything, good and bad, salts, minerals, chemicals. Rainwater avoids all that. So we tank it before it touches the ground. Cleaning it is just a breeze because it has no sediment or no impurities in it. It is absolutely the cleanest, purest water you can drink. The most naturally sweet, sustainable source of pure water, fresh water on Earth.
Welcome back to the Roxo Media House Studios here in the Fort Worth. Sticking on the topic of celebrations, here's our head men's tennis coach, David Roditi, on America 250, as well as celebrating 50 years of the Baird H. Friedman Tennis Center.
It's going to be weird because we'll be in England, during that. So I maybe apologize or rub it in, one of the two, hopefully, our soccer team. And then you have the World Cup. And it's also our 50th anniversary of this beautiful tennis center. It was the ribbon ceremony was 50 years ago. So there's a lot to celebrate. Obviously, this country, what it has done for people like myself, that my mom is American, but I was born in Mexico, and to be able to come here and do what I do on a daily basis, and Devin would feel the same. It really is the greatest country. There's a lot to be proud of, and it's hard. There's a lot of tough issues out there, and you get all this politicians doing their thing. But we're lucky. We're lucky to be like this. I mean, just look around. This is a beautiful office to be in. So lots to be grateful for, lots to celebrate. Take it one day at a time and keep enjoying the journey.
We will have more from Coach Roditi later in the show, but let's start with the baseball and Kirk Saarloos as he completes his coaching staff for the upcoming season with a pitching, hitting, catching, and bench coach.
It's really difficult, in terms of some of the decisions that had to be made. That was really tough for everybody. But feel really excited about, the staff and, with Thomas, Double D. I call him Double D because the first 5 days, Danny David, it's hard for me. It's is it David, Danny, David? So I call him Double D. Double D and then obviously Brian Holiday. So, some outside, some professional baseball, but they all have a background in college. Obviously, Thomas Echelman, one of the greatest college pitchers of all time. You can't even do what he did from a command standpoint in MLB The Show. It's 362 innings and 17 walks. It's absurd. So, but getting him out of the Orioles organization as a AA, AAA pitching coordinator, and then, Danny David, just, with his expertise and being in the big league level as assistant hitting coach with the Twins, and then coming back to the college game with Texas State. This last year, they set a new, program record for home runs. That's not per se his calling card, but his deal is it strikes hard, and so super fired up about those two guys. And then Brian, it means so much he's bleeds purple. I literally believe that he does bleed purple. But, a guy that I think in this transfer portal era, to have somebody like him that played here, that put everything he possibly could into his career that started here, is pivotal. I think we've had, Evan Scoug, Matt Perk, Brian Holiday, Kyle Winkler. You've had a ton of guys that have come back and have helped out and coached here, and I think it's even more imperative to have that in this transfer portal landscape, to have somebody like him that obviously is going to coach the catchers, be the bench coach, just fired up about the hires.
Along with the additions of pitching coach Thomas Echelman, hitting coach Denny David Linhan, and catching and bench coach Brian Holiday, Saarloos has promoted assistant coach and recruiting coordinator John DeLora to associate head coach.
Well, John's earned that. He's been up by my side since day one. When I took over as head coach, and he was the first hire, and he's a guy that works as hard as anybody in the country, and loyal, hard worker, and loves this place just as much as I do. So it was a no-brainer in terms of elevating him to associate head coach.
Saarloos, Echelman, Linhan, and Holiday all have significant Major League Baseball experience through their playing or coaching days, and a huge benefit when it comes to recruiting.
Yeah, I think it's beneficial when you're recruiting kids, because everybody wants to get to that level, and so now you have a whole staff. I joke with John that he's the only guy that doesn't have big league experience, so we kind of hold that over his head a little bit. No, but in all seriousness, I think having everybody has had their fair share of time at the major league level that are now coaching the college level, I think it translates really well to these young players, and it's a younger staff. I think I'm the old guy at 47 with gray hair, and Thomas is 32, and Danny David's 29, and I think Brian's we'll call it 35, and so is John. So I think it's a really good mix of professional baseball, but also the college landscape, and being able to relate to these guys.
Echelman joined TCU as an upper-level pitching coordinator with the Baltimore Orioles after his 4 years with the Padres staff, and spent 3 seasons in the majors with the Orioles, Astros, and Phillies. While Holiday, a TCU Athletic Hall of Famer with a 10-year Major League Baseball career, was a Donny Bench Award winner as a standout catcher at TCU from 2007 to 2010. They both talk about taking that next-level experience with them to TCU.
I think development has been a word that I've learned over this short period of time with recruits being on campus and everything like that. So my previous time with those organizations, I learned a lot about development and how to grow a player throughout their personal growth, but also just being able to get into the intangibles as well, right? Like being able to control the run game, being able to field your position well. There's little things that we need to be really good at to be able to be a good pitching staff. So just bleeding those two together between pro and college game to absolutely maximize what we want to do, is which standing in last 8 on ball.
A lot of it is failure. I had a lot of experience of failing at every level there is, and you learn a lot when you fail. And so I've gone through a lot. I've experimented with a lot of different things. Especially from a catching standpoint, that's changed so much from when I was here to when I was, in my 5th year in the big leagues to when I was in my 10th year in the big leagues. And there were so many different styles and analytics, and every day it seems to be changing. And so there's a lot of things that I've learned along the way that hopefully I've retained some of that knowledge and I'll be able to pass it along to these players.
Linhan spent the last 2 seasons at Texas State after his extensive MLB coaching experience, starting in 2020 with the Dodgers moving on to the Guardians and Twins organizations before joining the Bobcats. Texas State, with an at-large NCAA regional bid last season, set team and individual records the last 2 seasons. Linhan talks about his impact as well as bringing his major league experience to TCU.
Blending the professional style of hitting with the college game, that's a huge credit to the players there. They bought into what we were trying to do. I think it was a mentality of just not giving in, trying to hit balls hard, hunting pitches and sticking to guys' strengths. So, like I said, huge credit to the players we had there. I think it was a lot of confidence. I think when you have confident players, it leads to convicted approaches, and all the way throughout the season, it didn't matter if it was Friday night arms or it was Sunday type guys. I thought we just brought our best day in and day out. We're telling recruits right now in the transfer portal and high school guys too that even at the highest level, the guys that play on TV every night, they're trying to constantly get better each and every day. And I think that some people think that in that environment, you just kind of roll the bats and the balls out and those guys go do it. And in some sense they do, they're really talented. But I think the best in the world are trying to not just be satisfied with being there, they're trying to truly be the best in the world. So I think takeaways from that environment was it's important to win every night. It's the number one thing. But from an individual standpoint, as a player too, you're trying to become the best version of yourself. So guys like Carlos Correa with the Twins, now Astros, Byron Buxton, who's going crazy right now. I probably took more away in a short time from them than maybe they took from me, but now I'm getting to give it back to players in the college game and help them get to that level, and hopefully be players like Brian Holiday, who's here on staff and who's a Hall of Famer and did it at that level too. So took in a lot of knowledge. I'm telling recruits right now is like a doctorate in baseball in a sense, getting to that level, and super excited to be back and try to help the next wave of players get there.
Saarloos talks roster turnover with the draftees, JUCO, and transfer portal moves.
Well, we really, in the portal, we've really, and obviously the JUCO, we've really tried to get back to that blueprint of our 4 World Series teams that were JUCO heavy in the position player side of things, and then it was kind of high school heavy on the pitching side. I kind of want to get back to that JUCO model just because those guys, it hasn't been easy for those guys. They play 100 games a year. They eat ham sandwiches in between doubleheaders. They wash their own clothes and their own uniform and drive in a van to most games. So there's some grit to them, and there's some toughness to them, and there's, I think when they get here, they really relish in the fact of all the stuff that they do get, and it's a very selfless type of attitude. I feel like from that junior college group of players, and so we've done that a lot this year in this portal season. Of even a lot of our transfer portals from 4 years have some JUCO background in them, and just super excited about the nucleus of guys that we've brought in to be able to complement the guys that we have coming back, and then obviously the young group coming in as well. So I'm excited about the group. Obviously we didn't perform like we wanted to last year, and that ultimately comes down and is on me. And so this year we've kind of really tried to change over the roster and figure out different ways of doing things, and sometimes new ideas and changes are good. And so just really looking forward to getting this whole group here, get past the draft and get them all on campus.
All 3 coaching additions talk about their decisions to come to TCU Baseball.
Like I said, it's my dream job. I've poured my heart into this program when I played here, and I've moved my family here, and we've been around not just this program but the university as a whole. We go to all the football games, basketball games, women's basketball games. We go to every sport we can, and TCU just is so meaningful to me. It's provided so much for me and my family in our life that it just feels great to have the opportunity to give back.
I mean, obviously this program speaks for itself and everyone that's kind of come through here in previous years. So for me to get an opportunity to go to not only a Power 4 school, but a Power 4 school at TCU is a humbling experience. And ultimately the sense of family here, the sense of togetherness, and just the overall community of Fort Worth was super embracing and desirable to be at. And especially with me having 2 young kids and wanting to get to the college game, this is obviously a super desirable spot to be at.
Thankful to be here. It's been fast, through a fire hose a little bit right now with the transfer portal and getting to know campus and know Frog Nation a little bit. But it's been great. Fort Worth's been super receptive. I think our portal class is off to a really good start, pitcher and hitter wise. So yeah, decision wise, I'm from Dallas, Fort Worth, so a chance to come home, a chance to get into the Power 4 space and enter a conference like a Big 12 at a historic place like TCU. It's a big time opportunity. Super excited.
Holiday was part of the first TCU baseball team that made it to Omaha in the College World Series in 2010 and talks about how this TCU program shaped him who he is.
I mean, like walking in this classroom right here, I still get goosebumps. You know, you see the photos on the wall of us dogpiling on the Longhorn in 2010, and to me, you know, it's where I grew up, where I learned how to be a man, and you know, and take charge of my life, and really, you know, learned a lot of the lessons, not just on the field but off the field. And so when I say it shaped who I am, I truly mean it. You know, I learned a lot of life lessons here, and made a lot of lifelong friends too.
The team reports later this month for the voluntary workouts, and we look forward to seeing the final 34 to 40 players that will look to get back to Omaha for the 7th time. Also, good luck to Chase Brunson and Sawyer Stronsnyder in the MLB draft, which starts July 11th. Well, switching to men's tennis, head coach David Roditi, who is heard from earlier, is in London at Wimbledon supporting all our pro frogs, Cameron Norrie, Jake Fernley, Jake Pennington-Jones and Rhys Tondler. We caught up with him during his camp at the Purple Courts earlier this week on what the summer has been like so far.
It's a little bit of everything. It's camps, as you see the kids running around. That's always a fun time. And then you have the recruiting of the new class, the 2028 class. Crazy because you're recruiting a class that now with the new rule of the age eligibility, age-based model, they could come in a year after they graduate from high school. So, and then players that we thought were leaving a year from now, like Duncan Chan, he's a senior, well, he gets another year. So our whole changes. So you're kind of calling them and you're not even sure. I tried to explain to them and educate them, and so we haven't done as much of that young class, the 2028 recruiting, but you do a lot of that. Also keeping track of our guys. Devin Bowen has always spent 3 weeks training with our current guys here in the summer before they went and played a bunch of tournaments, following the guys all over the world. We have guys in Tunisia, we have guys in the UK, in Europe, in Spain, in the US playing tournaments. So keeping track of them, the alumni, obviously the pros, you know, with Norrie and Fernley and Rhys Tolder in doubles, JPJ, Alistair Gray, Oliver Bond. It's just a lot. So it's a lot of hats. It's also family time. My kids, trying to spend some time with them. We're going to Wimbledon. We're going to be recruiting at Wimbledon and then also cheering on Cameron and Jake and JPJ. They're in the main draw, and hopefully Rhys Tolder gets in the doubles. Alistair Gray could be playing doubles too.
Roditi gives us a look back at last year and the Final Four heartbreaker from the national championships 4-3 against Texas, and mentions the importance of development.
It was a rebuilding year. I know people make fun of us, but it was rebuilding year. We lost our number 1, our number 2, our number 3. We lost the most successful class in the history of TCU tennis, top 3 guys, and our top recruit that we had signed also de-signed all at the same time. So it was a rebuilding. So what did we learn? We learned that the importance of development, the importance of making the guys that you do have better. And what Duncan Chen did, jumping from 6'7" to play number 1, made our year. Oliver Bonding comes in, Cooper, Westendyke, Albert, Roger, they hardly lost a match. We get really fortunate, and we hit a home run with Cosme on the transfer portal without a ton of NIL compared to what other teams were offering. So it gives us hope that you can still compete at the highest level without doing this whole crazy recruiting, NIL, transfer portal, revolving doors, that you can have a continuous program that guys can come in at 18, 19 and develop. So Devin and I and Scott talked about it and said our success will depend on how good we are at developing our guys. And that's why Devin is just 24/7 looking to make these guys better, help them get better, because we're not going to bring in, we could have brought in a player at number 1 again this year from the transfer portal, pay a bunch of money, and that would have put a guy like Maximus Desault 2 spots away from playing. We don't want to do that. Plus, if we're going to raise any money, we want to give it to the guys that we do have that have been loyal to us. Why give it to a new guy that we don't even know anything about him? So we're kind of investing on our current guys and putting our time and effort in our current guys, and the success of our program will depend on how good we can develop those guys.
That rebuilding year lost to Texas and the TCU bid to reach national finals for the 3rd time in as many seasons. TCU played in their 4th consecutive Final Four and 8th in the program history. Follow us on Instagram for daily updates from Wimbledon with our collaboration with D1 Coaches Pod. After this quick break, Lee, my head coach, talks to our women's soccer and volleyball head coaches.
Energy does everything for us. It's all-encompassing.
We're all benefiting and affected from it.
And it is something that we all need to know about.
It is the glue that holds everything together.
TCU is powering what matters, our future.
We don't just talk about what's needed, we focus on results.
The Ralph Lowe Energy Institute is creating a world where energy is affordable, sustainable, and reliable.
Welcome back to the show, Frog Nation. Next, we have Eric Bell, our women's soccer head coach, who took his team last year to the Final Four for the first time in program history. Here are some takeaways from another historic season. Just getting edged out by Florida State 1-0 in the national championship semifinal, and an update on the new class for this upcoming season.
We're on the right track, first and foremost. I think that, we're doing things the right way to put us in a situation or to where we can ultimately get to a college cup. What I also learned is that the whole cultural piece and making sure that everybody's on the same page on how we do our business and how we want to be as a program and our identity as a program is important, and it kind of separates us from everybody else because we are who we are. And we don't stray away from that, and we own that, and it is what it is, and we're going to try to be the best versions of ourselves, trying to be who we are. I think that they're still hungry, right, and wanting to do a little bit better than what we did in last season, which will be challenging, right? But I think they're hungry. I think they're training hard over the summer to come back and prove people that you're not going to be this one-hit wonder, and we're going to continue to do what we do and do it at a high level and see if we can continue to have success.
The defending Big 12 regular season champs get their season started on August 13th at Wisconsin before their home opener against UTSA on the 16th. What are some expectations as his players report for the summer on July 14th with their ramp up, which will extend their preparation for a season that comes the middle of August?
Well, hopefully they're fit, right? That's the first and foremost, is for every other college soccer program in the country doing the level doesn't matter. You got to come in fit, ready to rock and roll so that you can do things at a high level and not get hurt, but also be physically fit enough to handle the rigors of preseason practices, right? And so, hopefully they're fit, and if they are, then we can really concentrate on the soccer piece. And if we can concentrate on the soccer piece, I think we'll be more than ready to go because the preseason has been extended with a ramp-up period. And so we're starting a little bit earlier, but it's been needed long time ago. We had the shortest preseason of any NCAA sport. And, it's like 10 days, and it's not long enough. And so, you don't have a whole lot of answers going into your first game as far as what works and what doesn't work. And so now we basically have a month, which is awesome. And we're thankful that the NCAA has, changed the regulations as it pertains to that. And so it's going to give us a much better opportunity to properly prepare for the preseason or properly prepare for the season. And then hopefully our first game will be much, much better than it has been in the past as far as being ready. So we'll meet with the group on, July the 14th? And then we'll start our ramp up on the 15th. And it's the NCAA regulates how often you can get together and whatnot, and we'll follow those rules, make sure that we're compliant. And then on the 29th is the day where we're supposed to be able to have the normal preseason practice. And so that extra 2 weeks is definitely going to be helpful as we try to prepare and get ready for the season. So I'm looking forward to it and see how it goes, but it's definitely been needed for a long, long time.
As always, TCU soccer doesn't shy away from competition between non-con and Big 12 play.
We don't shy away from competition. I think that we're playing a lot of SEC teams, and so, maybe by the end of the non-conference we can crown ourselves SEC champs if we do the business. But we're looking forward to it. We're playing A&M, we're playing Texas, we're playing Georgia, Wisconsin, Alabama. So we're not shying away from anybody. And it is a tool that we use to prepare for the regular season, but we also want to play good competition, to make sure that our RPI is what it needs to be in order to, be a top seed in the NCAA tournament. And so now these things are kind of expected by us, and it's a big responsibility to go out there and take care of business in the non-conference as well as the conference. And, in the conference, obviously, we want to win the regular season and go into the Big 12 tournament with an opportunity to win that as well. And so, if we can stay healthy and we can coach them up, I like our chances.
There are up to 10 plus current pro frogs that are mixed between the professional leagues of the NWSL and the USL Super League, along with Liga Mexico. And it just proves one thing: Eric Bell, his staff, and his program are doing things right.
It's just telling us that we're doing things the right way and our environment is good enough to one, compete at a high level, but also develop at a high level. And I think that, for all these future recruits and future frogs that are interested in TCU, well, we have the winning down and we have the development down. And so, we're looking to make TCU soccer or Fort Worth a destination, and we're busting our butt to become an elite program to where we're considered amongst the blue bloods in our sport. And so we still got a little bit of ways to go, and we've come close to winning a national championship. But I do believe that in order to be considered a blue blood, you got to win a national championship, and that's the next challenge for this program.
With the FIFA World Cup in town, with Dallas Stadium or AT&T Stadium hosting the most games of any stadium in the tournament, Bell talks about the world coming to the Metroplex and how he uses that in recruiting process as well.
Yeah, so that's a big selling point for me as far as living in the Metroplex and having all these different, entertainment options, whether it be athletics or sports or, music and culture, from art to music to theater to sports. It's all here. And, as I said a bunch of times on these recruiting calls, Fort Worth has just been announced to be the 10th largest city in the country. And it doesn't feel like that whatsoever. It's so spread out that, we're not on top of each other. And it's just a great place to be, man, and a good time to be here. And I love it here. And it's awesome. It's kind of cool to see all these different people from other countries experience American culture. But it's also kind of cool for us to see what it's like to experience soccer culture from all over the world, and all these different people and their traditions and some of the things they do on a regular basis. A lot of these countries travel really, really well. And I went to the England-Croatia game yesterday, and both of those countries were well represented, and whether that be local people or stuff from around the U.S., but from Europe as well. And it was a festive game and a lot of chanting and singing and cheering and a lot of traditions. And so, it was kind of awesome to see and kind of awesome to just kind of be in the middle of it and just kind of experience it. So it's a lot of fun.
Moving from one program making history to another, TCU Volleyball and head coach Jason Williams, who has taken his team to the NCAA second round for the past 4 seasons and back-to-back 20-win seasons.
Yeah, I mean, just fortunate for the seasons that we've had. You know, we got into the top 10 for a couple of weeks there after we had beaten A&M early in the year. So to get that experience, I think is going to help us this year. But yeah, just, I mean, it's a true test to like the staff and just the players of like the consistency of getting to at least the second round, you know, each year. But, you know, it's just, I joke with everybody, it's not hard to win volleyball games, but it's extremely hard to win. You know, it's like, it's a lot of work. And again, we're blessed, but now we feel like the roster is really, really good. We really like the 26 roster. So we're excited about what the fall could look like.
The team started in the top 20 and remained in the top 20 all season and even dipped into the top 10. Williams is looking forward, though, and knows he is real close. He's on the verge of getting to that ever-coveted third round and improving on another solid season.
Yeah, I think this year we have a little more maturity on the roster. We have a lot more experience, right? Almost everybody's coming back from last year's team, so we have a lot of our experience. We do have new middles coming in. We have a top middle coming out of high school that we're looking at to see what kind of impact she can make, you know. But I think it's the experience and the composure that I'm looking forward to in the fall because we were so close last year. And I think a little lack of experience, a little lack of like being there before may have hurt us in some of those sets. But I think if we can stay healthy, we got a really good shot this year.
Speaking of the new team, Williams is ahead of the game when it comes to recruiting, along with summer camps he and his programs host at TCU.
Yeah, summer's been pretty crazy. You know, we just finished June 15th was the first date we could talk to recruits. Got us a good recruiting class in this week. So we're done with the 2028 class. Our kids came in end of May, beginning of June. So they've been starting workouts in open gyms, and yeah, just camps are rolling right now. Got a nice camp here with positional work, and then off to Indianapolis for nationals. We had kind of our college ID camp last weekend, and that was kind of pre-June 15th, try to be able to see the 2028s and 29s, you know, early. This is a positional camp. We have great numbers for all of our camps. We got 3 camps in July that we're doing, and really it's just about getting players, you know, and families on campus, working with the community. You know, a lot of these kids are from Fort Worth area, and then just really showing them what TCU is all about. Yeah, so we're kind of lucky now because normally nationals is where you finalize your 2028 recruits or whatever the year is. So now that we're kind of done, we can focus on the younger players, really spend time kind of seeing them, and then working towards like who we want to prioritize to for the following year. And then we don't have to be there as long. You know, we don't have to put the days in, which then we can save those days for, you know, through the end of the year for next year. And so, yeah, it's needed, right? It's part of the job, but this year a little less stress because we already landed the ones that we wanted.
We wish Coach Williams and his team the best during the summer and with his new team this fall as they prepare for the season. Hey, and as far as camps go, we got 6 weeks left of TCU tennis camps. And guess what? We've got indoor courts available too because it's only about 157 degrees outside. But hey, come on out. We'd love to have you. We got former players coaching. We've got current players coaching. For more information on our camps, visit wilsontenniscamps.com and search for TCU. We've got women's basketball player sophomore transfer Avery Hjelmstad in the studio when we return.
Welcome to the Squire Shop. We're locally owned and operated since 1994. We specialize in the finest men's clothing that the market has to offer at affordable prices with unbelievable service. We do custom clothing all the way to more casual, Peter Millar, Johnny O, kind of everything. Well, my dad's the owner, so I've been around retail my whole life. Oh, it's great. I mean, it's the best boss I'll ever have. I know that.
We love our TCU community. They have been so good to us. Come see us today. Go Frogs!
Now to women's basketball. They wrap up summer one workouts this week as they go on a little July 4th break. But we are fortunate to be able to catch up with the new transfer guard from Utah, Avery Hjelmstad, in the studio, and we start with the obvious. Why TCU, and what was the process of landing in the Fort Worth?
So my AAU coach and my trainer from Bracombe had reached out to a couple of the coaches here at TCU and had set up a visit for the first week of the transfer portal opening up. So I got to speak with Coach Campbell. He just told me how excited he was to have me on my visit, and just that he was scheduling only 4 or 5 girls, and those were who we wanted. And you know, going on my visit and leading up to it, I could feel the connection and relationship that Coach Campbell and I could have. Coach Campbell's philosophy really drew me in on my visit. It was my first visit of 4 that I had scheduled, and I sat there at his table, and he told me how he could develop me, his progress and potential in, you know, helping others achieve their goals, and it's something that I want to do. I want to play pro one day, and he's shown that he can do that and prove that in past seasons.
As a freshman at Utah last year, Avery had the chance to match up with the Horned Frogs, and it ended up a 10-point win for the Utes in Salt Lake. What was that environment like?
It was an amazing environment. It was kind of our Super Bowl game. TCU was ranked at the time, but we knew we had elevation on our side going into the game. They had been playing at BYU the game before, and so we knew they might have been tired coming in to play us. And we used that to our advantage. Definitely had a great fourth quarter and shooting game overall. And yeah, came out on top in overtime. It was awesome.
TCU is coming off back-to-back Elite Eights and back-to-back regular season Big 12 championship. So Avery has some big shoes to fill, but she's obviously here for a reason, and she talks about what she can add to this dominant program.
I am a very good three-point shooter. That is kind of what I'm known for. I think Coach Campbell's philosophy is to get up a lot of threes. That was one thing I noticed coming from Utah and entering the transfer portal, was that TCU was the only other school that ranked above Utah in three-point attempts. So I would love to add, you know, obviously an efficient shooting three-point percentage to the team. Versatility. I'm 6'1", 6'2" on the court. I can defend multiple positions and play multiple positions. So I hope to have a good, successful season in multiple areas and grow my game overall.
Speaking of big shoes to fill, Olivia Miles is having a breakthrough rookie season so far as the second pick in the WNBA draft this season to the Minnesota Lynx. A lot of people think Olivia is going to be the Rookie of the Year and maybe even the Player of the Year. Unbelievable. Great job, Olivia. But Avery had a chance to play against her last year in Big 12 play. And like all the players that have landed at TCU, playing for head coach Mark Campbell, she hopes for the same growth and development as Olivia.
Yeah, I mean, as a freshman at Utah, I wasn't guarding her at the time. She wasn't on my scout, but I had to watch a lot of film on her. With her intelligence and IQ on the court, that's something that I look up to and looked up to as a freshman, as someone playing against her. And also knowing that Coach Campbell can help develop me potentially into a player even that good or a pro that good. It's honestly exciting. I'm enthusiastic to see what he does with me and what player he helps me become.
Since getting here a few weeks ago, my impression of Fort Worth has been amazing, and as the basketball teams have been going strong for several weeks now, we asked Avery how it's been going and what her first impression of TCU was.
Yeah, my first impression of Fort Worth is that it felt like home. I mean, going from Oklahoma to Utah, it was definitely a different environment. I didn't feel out of place, but you could definitely tell that there was a different vibe to Salt Lake City. And so coming here, straight away I knew that this was something that I was looking for and was missing when I was in Utah.
Heard a lot of good things about the women's basketball team and can't wait to check them out. Thanks to Avery for taking the time to join us this week. That will just about do it for this week's edition of Frogs Today. Make sure you follow us on our Instagram and X for those updates at Frogs Today, as well as TCU Athletics and GoFrogs.com. Stay connected for Dynamics original content right here at Frogs Today. I'm Matushkina.
And I'm Lee Taylor Walker for TCU Women's Tennis, Roxo Media House, and Frogs Today. Thanks to our friends at Richards Rainwater for making this possible. And thanks for watching. Happy 4th of July, Frog Nation. Be safe and go Frogs.